By late 1944, World War II had turned against Germany. The Allies had landed in Normandy. Paris had been liberated. American bombers were pounding German cities day and night. Hitler desperately needed intelligence. He wanted to know what weapons the United States was developing, where troops were being assembled, and what new technologies might soon appear on the battlefield. Rather than rely on outdated intelligence networks, German military intelligence devised a bold plan. Send agents directly into the United States. The mission was codenamed Operation Elster, German for magpie, a bird known for collecting shiny objects. The hope was that these agents would gather valuable information and send it back to Berlin. November 29th, 1944. The war in Europe is still raging. American troops and its allied forces have stormed the beaches of Normandy and have now crossed into Germany's motherland and are bearing down deep in the throat of the Nazi regime. Nazi Germany is crumbling, but Hitler's spies are still reaching across the Atlantic. Two men step ashore on a freezing beach in Maine, carrying suitcases full of cash, diamonds, and sabotage dreams. Their mission, Operation Elster, Magpie in English, one of the most bizarre and incompetent espionage operations of World War II. While millions of Americans slept, Nazi agents Erich Gimpel and William Kolpaw disembarked from a German U-boat in Frenchman Bay, Maine. They came ashore at Hancock Point, carrying heavy luggage, revolvers, and $60,000 in cash for a long-term espionage mission. Under orders from Adolf Hitler, they were to gather intelligence on U.S. military operations and technology. In freezing, snowy weather, a rubber raft from the U-boat brought the men to the rocky shores of Crabtree Neck in Hancock, where the two men quickly left the area. They took a cab to Bangor, a train to Portland, and then traveled south to New York City. The operation depended on two very different men. The first was Erich Gimpel, an experienced German intelligence officer. Gimpel had already worked in South America, collecting information for the Nazi war effort. He spoke excellent English, understood espionage, and knew how to operate undercover. His partner was far less reliable. William Kolpaw was born in Connecticut, an American citizen. During the war, he deserted a merchant ship, made his way to Germany, and eventually volunteered to work for Nazi intelligence. To the Germans, Kolpaw seemed like the perfect recruit. He knew American customs. He spoke flawless English. He could blend in anywhere. What they didn't realize was that he lacked the discipline, and perhaps even the conviction, to be a spy. Though Gimpel and Kolpaw slipped virtually unnoticed into New York within 48 hours and soon found an apartment, things began to go awry within a few weeks. The German U-boat torpedoed a Canadian freighter after dropping off the two men, which aroused suspicion at the FBI. Another recently inserted Nazi spy who'd been caught had the Bureau on high alert for similar schemes. Soon FBI agents headed up to Hancock County, Maine, to patrol the area and follow up on a tip from the Boy Scout, Harvard Hodgkins. Noting the men he'd seen emerging from the woods had been ill-dressed for winter weather, Hodgkins had later turned back, followed their footprints in the snow down to shore, and spotted the rubber raft in which Gimpel and Kolpaw had arrived. Soon the testimony of the first woman who'd spotted the pair, May Forney, was added to the body of evidence, and the hunt was on. Mary Forney told the FBI agents that she was driving home from a card game on the Hancock Point Peninsula when she saw two strange men walking by the side of a rural road. Noticing they were inappropriately dressed for the harsh November weather, they were not wearing winter boots and were carrying suitcases in a remote area, she became suspicious. She safely arrived home and immediately called a friend, the wife of a local deputy sheriff, to report the unusual strangers. For nearly a month, the two spies lived in Manhattan. They had plenty of money, thousands of dollars in cash and diamonds. They ate well, drank heavily, went to shows, and chased women. They accomplished almost nothing. Call back on American soil, quickly lost whatever ideological commitment he once had. The bright lights and familiar culture of New York seemed far more appealing than dying for the Fuhrer. By late December, Colpaw had enough. Both men began arguing over their mission, which left Colpaw disillusioned. On December 26, 1944, he walked into the FBI's New York field office and turned himself in. Hoping to save his own skin, he betrayed Erich Gimpel completely. The FBI arrested Gimpel just days later. Operation Elster was over before it ever really began. In February 1945, both men faced a military tribunal. It was only the third time in U.S. history that American citizens were named in a conspiracy to commit treason before a military court. They were convicted of espionage and sentenced to death. But the war ended before the sentences could be carried out. President Harry S. Truman commuted both sentences to life imprisonment. Operation Elster remains one of the strangest espionage missions of World War II. Only twice during the entire war did Germany successfully land agents on the North American mainland by submarine. Yet despite months of planning, a dangerous Atlantic crossing, and a covert landing on American soil, the operation collapsed because one spy simply changed his mind. In the end, Germany's elaborate intelligence mission wasn't defeated by the FBI's brilliance, or by Allied counterintelligence, but by the weakness of one of its own agents. Sometimes history's greatest failures aren't caused by enemy action. They're caused from within. The Nazi spy mission never brought any information back to Adolf Hitler. It simply reminds us that even the most dangerous regimes can be undone. Not always by heroic resistance, but sometimes by ordinary human failure. If you enjoyed this story of one of World War II's strangest espionage missions, don't forget to like the video and let us know in the comments. What would you like to see covered next?